Take me back to Liberia, where the drums still play my song. Take me back to my homeland. It's the place where I belong.
LIV Future TV, giving voice to progressive Liberians, speaking about politics, entertainment, and local news.
You were in Ghana between 2000 to 2003, right? Sure. From the recollection or reflection, you know that you and myself living here. Yeah. Do you remember the thousands of Liberians that were in Ghana, refugee camps, and all over West Africa? Do you know what happened then? Came into existence.
The issue of elections are more likely to fight. The issue of elections and so forth. This is why, Senator, the Commission was election as a bridge between peace and chaos. And this is why there's no small election. It was a conflict. They were not a conflict because of land, it was a conflict because of political power.
Thank you. You can remember vividly one night in Awotu. You and I spent almost 4 hours around the local bench, standing on the road, discussing the governance in our country. Today, you are being nominated to chair the institutions that were mismanaged, that took you and I in exile. I am sitting here as senator. It is our generation now that should ensure that we don't take this amount of Liberian again in the wilderness. Please answer this question for me. You serve the Election Commission. What are some of the challenges that you observe in election administration in Liberia?
Thank you, Senator. Political parties are the major stakeholders of the electoral process. There's a challenge regarding the strength of political parties in Liberia. That's a challenge. The issue of funding for the commission is a challenge. And there are a lot of other issues when you talk about the time of campaign. The time campaign based on the road situation that exists in the country. We hope that it will now. That's a challenge. And we talked about how we inform by the people, and whether among the people regarding the electoral process. That's a challenge. These are some of the challenges I was there when I was member of the commission.
There is this public perception that, whether it is right or wrong, but it's a public perception, that the Election Commission always in the shadow of political decision makers. What's your take on that?
I served on the charge in the mind in the constitutional government. I did not experience anything like that for the executive to the commission. Under President Sirleaf, I did not observe that. So I cannot readily agree with that perception But there are structures. Number one, funding to the commission is one of the means of independence of the commission. You pay the 5% to do. So if you look at the Ghanaian version, there is a quota set by a percentage of the national budget that is put in an escrow every year. So that by the time you get an election, there are sufficient resources available to commence the process. We think there needs to be an improvement in that cycle. But to say there's a political direction as to what you do and what you don't do, we must tell you at the commission and I explain that.
And lastly, before I can be given another opportunity by the chair, the growing concern about the positioning or the establishment of voting centers. For those of us from the legal counties, somehow people have to walk 3 to 4 hours to the next center to vote. That alone can exclude or deny, I don't want to use such word, the opportunity for the people to exercise that franchise. What is the plan you have?
Yes, the commission had a new plan with regard to increasing the number of registration centers across the country. And that particular plan by the commission has been buttressed by the European Union election result report. The 2023 election report by the observation report by the European Union, where they indicated that the amount of voter registration centers should be increased, and that they should target, the increment should target populated areas. And the commission intends to take advantage of that. In the draft law, the law that is to be submitted by the commission to the legislature, there's a provision in there that talks about increasing the amount of voter precinct from 3,000 to 4,000. In other words, you will now be able to open 8 centers in the precinct instead of 6 when the current law. So there's a plan to do that. We have assured the European Union of the people that is part of our plan to rescue that.
Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you. Senator Pasquale.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair, for the opportunity. So let me congratulate you for your performance by the Chief Executive. Again, I think when you inform this body about your experience at the Elections Commission, it was it's very interesting. But let me ask you, with the huge experience you have at the commission, what do you think that needs to be done to transform the place, to make our election process what it ought to be?
Thank you. We are part of the committee on nation and there's a graduation from a manual system to a digital system. I remember there was a delegation from Ghana in the 2020 special secretary election. I led the commission at that time were in public consultancy. And the Air Force ambassador here requested a team from Ghana to take a look at our electoral rule, the electoral rule from 2017, in order to conduct, we use it for the conduct of the special secretary election of 2020. Ambassador Ajisumo sent for me and former chairman from him. And we we had extensive discussion with the team from Ghana again. One of the observations was clear that you have to graduate from manual to digital. Because even if there's an error on the road, one it is manual, it becomes difficult. The only thing we can do is to do facial recognition on the road in order to salvage the situation where you don't contamination. Or a key recommendation in their funding was that we should graduate to digital means or manual. Based on that, we have the view that the full biometrics process will ensure transparency and will grant credibility to the results of the elections. Biometrics is a one-time investment, and electoral expense amount was concluded as an anti-fraud system, and the commission intends to use that forward. In other words, both enrollment and verification before casting on vote. We intend to do that. Thanks.
So from your experience,
As a long-time servant of applicants, do you think can we achieve that during 2029?
Sure. It's achievable. And the good thing about it is that we have starting. So enrollment can take place and the card can be given immediately across the country. So in other words, that very evaluation for a challenge environment. Challenge environment that where there's no internet connectivity across the place. But we're starting, and with the support of the organization who require the resources to get started, we enroll and get card the CD, and they'll give verification before the cast number. In other words, you have no double registration. Okay? That's it. And I also requested my team to listen to bring resources to the commission to ensure that there is massive and robust civil education across the country to limit the amount of invalid votes. Thank you, sir.
You have been serving an elections commission, so you are an experienced person.
Sure.
Observe that when elections is held and a candidate is declared winner, the losing candidate can challenge the one that is declared winner. And because of that, that candidate, the one that declared winner, is not allowed to take seat until whatever case that is brought against that candidate is adjudicated and disposed of. How you look at that does deny the other district or county should be represented in that.
Thank you, Senator. There was a provision in the election law, section 3.25. We indicated that if you are elected in an election, you will be seated. The winner will be seated. You will believe that they lose and they lose, they have a reason. Sufficient reason beyond reasonable doubt. They're going to vote. At the end of the day, if the losing candidate is enjoyed by the court to be the rightful winner of the election, the person who seated will be removed and the person there will be settled retroactively. That was the law of the 2014. The 2014 Ebola election, the special senatorial election, and the issue was concerning Kidman. And there's a law that says that when the election is conducted and there's a complaint there, it's handled by the ministerial office. And the result from the ministerial office is now accepted by the complainant. It goes to the board of commissioners. From the board of commissioners, if you don't accept the result from that, then you can go to the Supreme Court. Well, Kidman was a strange situation. Former Chairman Kukwera and myself, I decided to go to Kidman. We got from there. The vote between the two candidates there was very, one had 10,000 votes, and another one had 3,000 votes. But the one that had 3,000 votes, at the end of the day, during the investigation of the complaint at the ministerial office, but deny that, putting everything together, the difference between your vote and that of the candidate, the winner that you are contesting against, even if we took vote for Nigeria, they will still make a difference. So the result stands. The candidate decided that we're not satisfied with the result. But they did not come to the board, they went straight to the Supreme Court to file for prohibition. Chairman Kukwe at the time, as I went to the court, met with the board, the bench. We explained to them that under Chief Justice Johnny Louison, when such a situation is okay, you send the people back to the commission. So we are appealing to the board to send the case back to the Frontier Court. But Justice Bang was the Justice in Chief. He refused to send the case back to us and issue a prohibition that no certification should be done until the election result is investigated. At the end of the day, the Supreme Court struck down 3.25, which was a guarantee that if you think you won the election and you are not declared the winner, you can go to court. They struck it down, and in places what we have today that one there's a protest against the result of the election, the winner cannot be certificated. The result of the commission is multiplicity of complaints, whether they have merit or no merit. Once it is filed, nothing can be done. Thank you so much.
All right,
Okay, thank you. How do you see the elections commission conducting an election and a candidate is cheated and therefore feel cheated and that candidate take up an issue against the election commission and the election commission staff is investigating the case?
Thank you so much. Because the 3C of the Constitution that we give that right to the commission. If an amendment of the Constitution is done, we could be looking at the possibility of a different structure to handle election protests, apart from the commission investigating ourselves. But until that amendment is done, there's nothing can be done at the level of the statute. Thank you, sir.
So let me ask my last question.
Yeah.
My last question is, you talking about domicile.
Yeah.
Somebody comes from out of the country or from Europe, goes to an ex-district in the rural part of the country of the country and not living there. Why do they consider a domicile? A person can be considered that yes, that person is domiciled.
Thank you. You have investment in the place, it's a place that you intend to return to. It's a domicile. A place that you have investment, you pay taxes, and you plan to return. It's a place that you plan to return to.
Yes.
Okay. You can resign or and be domiciled in another area. Thank you, Senator.
We quit.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Congratulations, my brother Frank.
Thank you, Senator.
I'd like to follow up on, I have other concerns, but I'd like to follow up on some of the one question. With respect to the provision of the national 6.5 that was done by the Supreme Court. We all are aware that the Supreme Court, on our sister company, has the authority to interpret law. And in interpreting the law, the Supreme Court always, in many instances, gave rationale, the reason why they are making a particular decision. In many instances, if there are ambiguity in the law, then the Supreme Court clarifies that through its decision and gave the rationale for its decision.
Sure.
If you recall, in that particular case, what was the rationale or whether there was ambiguity in the law for which the Supreme Court sees the opportunity to strike down that particular provision of the law. My question is the background that if that is the case, then the legislature can clarify the law.
Well, with regard to ambiguity, I didn't see any ambiguity in that law. It was clear that when the election commission declares a winner of an election, they should proceed to fulfill the last step, which is certification. But the Supreme Court, we know the Supreme Court is an appealing court, but the Supreme Court in a particular instance acted with false petition. There was nobody who went and said this particular thing was to his injuries. They took one to himself and struck down the law. That's it. We raised that with the court, and they told us, okay, we hear you. Thank you. That's it.
Okay,
That's it.
okay, thank you. So currently I saw on the agenda today there's an amendment to the election law that was passed by the House and it's submitted to the Senate. Maybe if confirmed, I propose that we all work together so that we can review that aspect of the law constructed by the Supreme Court. And if it was on the basis of any ambiguity or whatever the rationale was, if we can clarify, probably clarify the law so that we can do that in the amendment, independent amendment.
Well, welcome, and that will be a relief to the commission. And my view to the Senate is that you can't go a little bit slow on that submission for the House, so we can listen together. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I'd like to know one major, I've heard in some quarters arguments against your confirmation, owing to the fact that you owe allegiance to the political party. Quote unquote, people believe that, many people believe that many times the election commission has the capacity to undo the will of the people, but they have the capacity to cheat, if I may put it simply. And I realized over the years that political parties don't have the capacity to collect and tally their own resources across the country. All political parties rely on next result, which is official. Even though as it is the law that it is made like that it declare result. But it is also good for the participants in an electoral process to have the capacity to know exactly how well they perform before the results are announced by the election commission. On your leadership, do you think it will be a good thing, just so that we go away from the mindset that election commission will cheat, or anybody who goes there will have the capacity to cheat? Do you think it will be a good thing for us to work together and to work with our international partners to build the capacity of political parties, so that at the end of an election, will have the capacity just like NEC to know exactly how they perform, even though they are not the ones to declare the official result. So that if they have it and you declare, you have the opportunity to compare. By that, maybe that whole mindset of them to cheat on them will be eradicated. You think it will be a good thing for us to work together to achieve that?
It's a good thing, but to strengthen, as I indicated here, one of the challenges the commission faced in response to the Smith question was that the weak nature of political parties, they are the principal stakeholders of this process. When political parties are strong, they know they can train their members as to what to look for at the polling center, that they can be represented at polling centers across the country. Yeah, that's why they limit confusion and the blame game. And with regard to international institutions, when USAID was existing, I raised that issue with USAID so many times that, I mean, you need to help the parties through the inter-party consultative committee. Help the parties. That, for example, my proposal was that the commission head in charge of staffing the fund was try to, like the observation that who watching. There's an election, the party agent that we pay. Let the international community be able to help the political parties. Because you're talking about more than 2,000 centers in Mozambique. Some parties are not even able to get people for 500. 500 centers. So if you are bringing assistance, provide assistance to the political parties that will be able to have their agents across the country at the polling centers across the country. The issue that the international community always talk about, we want to do that, but the parties are too much. Now, I left the commission, when I left the commission 2020, I left between 15 to 20 parties. They are now 42. I got about 8 more proposed. Understand? So we may end to 56 very soon. In such a situation, it will be difficult to get support from international institutions. Because if you decide, okay, maybe as a certain benchmark that you that you want to do, and say, oh, party equal. That's the issue. So we will want to work together with you. If there's a benchmark that certain parties want in order to get assistance, I think it will be a good thing working in concert with the legislature to arrive at such a solution. I think the political party needs to strengthen their structure.
Yes, so in line with that,
All right, now we move
excuse me, Mr. Chairman.
Let me pick it back on you. Come again. Yeah, go ahead.
So
Please take note of the time.
I will ask 2 questions.
Yeah,
No, I more than 10 questions here. So please take note also.
that doesn't matter.
Yeah, so in line with that, Honorable Commissioner, Acting Commissioner, as I indicated there, we had and rightful advice that we take time to go ahead with the amendment, pending conversation with that. In line with that, do you think it would be a good idea for us to set a benchmark that political parties will have to take so that they get support in the interest of democracy, sustainability?
I think we have the opportunity somewhere in the reform process, the electoral reform process. We will deal with that. And we'll welcome it.
Okay, one last question. What is this issue of political party headquarters being only in Morocco? Do you look forward to the reform?
You know, most of his questions are around political parties because
Do you look forward to an amendment?
I think there's an amendment, there should be an amendment of the law. That once you're a political party, the essence of
10,000 in
political party is to secure state power. And if your objective is to secure state power, you should have representation across the country. This one I say that if you now offering seat in the play, you can have, I think that should be amended. When you are a party, you should be represented across the country.
Thank you. Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. For some of you that just came in, for some of you that just came in, We just can't. You know what? Let me set the rules. Before you came in, or before some of you came in, we had a ground rule. So you start left and we go right. In the process, we have some intervention for a 5 o'clock meeting that former pro tem, our chair, Chairman Moyi, and Mukwe has a 5 o'clock meeting. So I need to ask, should we allow them to ask the questions? Then after them, we will tell the rules. Wait.
Chairman, take your time.
We gave them a dispensation. No. With your consent, we'll give them.
You are the chair.
Which democratic chair?
Thank you. You want to know?
The chairman, thank you very much. I will be very brief.
All right, go ahead.
Thank you. I will be very brief.
What I work for you.
To the nominee, you stated that the commission independence sometimes is largely dependent on your financial capacity. You gave an example of the Ghana Election Commission. And I think it's quite good given the fiscal space of our country. I think we need to follow suit. You've been acting. Have you developed any activities leading to 2029 costed? You have that information so that we can begin to plan on what you just stated.
Thank you, Senator. When I took over as acting chairman on the 1st of April, I requested for the current budget, the 2026 budget, the commission. Because in the post-election period, one of the leading focus of the commission is civic education. And you talk about lesson learned, and you talk about building the capacity of the staff before you go to the electoral period. But I took the budget when it was presented to me. There's nothing for civic education. There's nothing for consultancy. There's nothing for travel, both domestic and foreign. There's nothing. So if you're like a commissioner and I'm supposed to be here and you don't have to go to the what's that called? These are things that I noticed.
Let the mic get closer.
The mic, speak to the mic.
These are things that I noticed, and I think there's a need to correct it in order for the commission to be able to perform its duties.
Okay, so that's why I said,
Yeah.
have you costed the activities leading to the 2029 election? And if so, what is that figure?
We are not going to because we are in the process.
But you think you can work on that so that we have that information ahead of time?
For sure, we do that. Planning for the 2029 election will begin January, because you need a minimum of 24 months to prepare for a presidential legislative election according to international electoral practice.
How the different elections are costed? Because I remember one point in time, there was an issue that excess money left. Apparently, the commission only budgeted, and then they had the excess money after a kind of election. And there was this tussle whether to remit it to the consolidated account or the commission should use it. How do you go about costing your different activities so that you're not just chunking figure to the legislature
or to the executive for financing.
Thank you so much, Senator. The commission budgeted for verification, for verified. The commission budgeted for verified. So that after the biometric enrollment, you have to verify before you are given ballot to vote. Unfortunately, after budgeting and the money was given, verify was not budgeted for the 2023 process. So people enroll by digital, but they were verified manually by checking for a name enrolled. That was in 2023. So the money for the verified level, besides that, they were budget prepared for election hazard. During the election, there's what we call general allowance that is given to the staff for the 1 year period, 12 months. That was budgeted. But other than money that was budgeted, 8 months was paid. The rest of the 4 months is still outstanding. I think that is the source of the money that left.
Okay, so I would just advise when you are confirmed, work with your team to cut activities leading to 2029 so that we begin as a government to fund it, yearly. And I think a suggestion will be considered because 2029 we may not have that bulk money to support the commission. So beginning this 2027, if that information is provided to the leadership of the legislature, we can begin now to fund it gradually. And then we can be stated in the budget law that it should be placed in a special escrow for the function of the election commission. So with that said, I will ask the chairman to just give us a soft copy of the presentation. I think it's well loaded, and I think we can hold you by that. And I think they did extremely well. So congratulations, you have my support.
Thank you. Okay, we'll start again with the rule. So we start from you. You did it, didn't kill it, didn't.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Senator, I have a floor. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let me begin by congratulating Honorable Wida for his preferment by the President.
Yeah.
I do not have many questions, just very few. The first one is, why do you think the framers of the 1986 Constitution in Article 89 established the National Elections Commission as an autonomous commission? Why do you think they did that?
Thank you, Senator. There are 3 models of the Electoral Commission. We have the NEC system, which is sometimes people call it a political model. And the NEC system is where representatives of political parties constitute a commission. And we have the independent model, which is what the framework of our constitution chose. And that particular commission is amenable to the legislature being the representation of all sectors of the society. And then we have the government model, in which case the Interior Ministry perform the tasks of the Electoral Commission. Those are the key. The framework of our constitution, I think, decided. Because based on our experiences with past governance in this country, I think they decided that the independent model is the right one.
So the key word is independence.
Independent.
Okay, that's why the framework said, let's make this commission autonomous.
Yeah.
The next question is, Honorable, you are before us for confirmation.
Yeah.
If confirmed under your leadership,
Can you confirm you can make NEC truly independent under your leadership?
Thank you, Senator. I wouldn't brag, but I'm a man of integrity. I will do my best to transform the team association with Macaulay, to transform the commission into an entity that is credible. And this is my pledge to the people of this country, that they will not have to vote and refuse to go because they are afraid to go there for the temple. If I'm confirmed, that people will vote and go to bed, that they will prevail. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I listened to you in your introduction. You previously served on the commission, I think 2 times now, before this nomination, right?
Yeah. Yeah, apart from the transition period of 2 years.
Okay, you serve on the commission as commissioner.
Yeah, transition period.
Okay. Now, with your experience as a past commissioner, what new are you bringing? What do you hope to achieve? Given your experience, what do you hope to achieve after maybe a year or after your tenure? When you look back, what do you want us to remember you for? What new thing do you bring on the table?
Thank you, Senator. As you indicated, I was a commissioner. I never served as a chairman because the agenda of the commission is driven by the chairman.
Right.
But Jimmy from Francis Johnson Morris, who is now Allison, Lisbeth Nelson, and so many people, some of them, I know them with us. 2004, we went to the commission, one of the transitional arrangements. We met the election commission on top of the supermarket. And I worked with my colleague, headed by from we took the commission from a rental property to a place where the commission has its own facility. We build structures across the country, offices, warehouses. The government of Liberia needs to pay for the 8,000 or more for a warehouse, renting a warehouse database. We established a warehouse at the commission.
For better future, support the Zamuni.
The commission no longer need to rent and so forth. I saw these things. I was from where other people. A chairman. I will digital the commission. There will be full digitalization of the commission. I will expand the infrastructure of the commission with the support of the Senate. Commissioner will start with that Libya and go look for hotel to sleep. I went to Ghana. That was Kwaja Farika, who was a doyen. We talk about election in Africa, Nigeria, West Africa. I traveled with him. We went to Ouagadougou, and then to Bakatanga, Upper East, capital. We moved, we got to a place, let's Libya and continue the journey to Kumasi tomorrow. We moved in Australia. I said, which hotel day? He said, no. This is a commission guest house. So when you leave town as a commissioner and in the trust, you go to a guest house and you protect it and so forth. Besides that, we intend to work our colleague in conjunction with budgetary allotment from the Senate, budgetary support from the Senate to be regional environment. Where all the electoral material Nigeria has to be stored in Ogogo. It should be in the region as a whole, where you can select this review and the regional environment. These are some of the changes that I intend to bring to the commission with support.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Nominee,
Yeah.
I have just one concern that I would appreciate for you to address. And that concern has to do with elections transparency. It is extremely possible that Nigerians will vote freely. You will announce fair results, and still the apprehension will be there that you cheated because of lack of transparency. When people don't feel the process is transparent, they tend not to believe what you give them, even if you are announcing the right thing. So transparency matters a whole lot in the process. Or as you and your team will do diligently well, you will be upright, you will be fair, but still the country will be upside down because they don't believe what you announced was right. So transparency matters a whole lot. There are people who believe that when you talk about Liberians in the diaspora voting, you are talking about Liberians in America and Europe. Of course, that is what most people believe. And you cannot be discriminatory in the approach or the policy that guides Liberians outside of Liberia voting. You have thousands of Liberians in Ghana. Now you have Liberians in East Africa, South Africa, thousands more now in China with the same kind of advancement in America existing where they are. And so when you put into place policies for Liberians in the diaspora to vote, of course it has to be across the board. And it has to be done in the manner that Liberians back home who are voting see it as being credible and transparent, or else we are headed for disaster. So my thing is, transparency matters. I would like for you to address the issue of how do you intend to live up to that part of the legal requirements that suggest that Liberians in the diaspora can vote without discriminating against the rest of, I used to be refugee, so I'm concerned about that, without the rest of the other Liberians not living in Europe and America being able to participate. That one. Then two, you spoke lengthily about digitizing the elections. And I think that feeds into the concern about transparency of the election results. The whole idea that we will vote, but only the chairman of the Elections Commission announces the official result is incomprehensible, because what we who have voted know is from the Elections Commission across the country. So it should be as credible and as reliable as what you announce. In other words, we should know the result of the election even without you mounting the podium to say, to suggest that no, that result is not official. This one is not official. Suggest that there's a possibility that what comes from the field will be different from what you announced. So how do you deal with that concern? And so, all in all, is the transparency concern that I'm concerned about. Can you throw a light on that?
Thank you. Senator, the diaspora voting is not prescribed. It is a process. It requires a whole lot to put into practice. As we just stated, We have Liberia in Rwanda, we have in Kenya, I think Ghana, where the heroin. The law says it. So I think it's important that we continue to strive to meet the requirement of the law, but there's a whole lot that is required. And you ask me here whether I can achieve that before 2029, I can't sit there and show you all that. I think we will continue to make effort to respect what the law says. And the question of transparency is important. I indicated that, but I talked about awareness, and I said building cordial relationship with political parties. Sometimes that will develop when the commission is silent. Nobody knows what they're doing. When Jimmy from where I was chairman, the data center was open to all opposition parties. We used to come, political leaders used to come with things on the guided tour of the data center. Well, at a certain point in time, sometimes it's like a taboo, nobody enter the place. When the type of atmosphere is this, people become suspicious. I intend to erase that, to open the center, to hold regular meeting with the inter-party consolidated committee, to brief them when there's major decisions before they are made. I want to build cordial relationship with political parties and social organizations.
You know, on the same issue, when I talk about digitizing the result, so that we do not have to wait for the chairman to announce the result before the board knows it. I was specifically asking, is there a possibility, like for instance in Maryland, I'm from Maryland, that the result is conducted today, and the next day there's a bulletin in Maryland that anyone can see, not people with the magistrate or with the individual, that anybody can go up there and see the results. And inside they can see the results. And people can know before you mount the podium and say, this is the result. Is that possible?
That is possible. That is possible. It's possible in that, like one of the things that will structure that political parties have not been able to know what their results are. It's because political parties have not been, most parties have not been able to have the capacity to have representations across the centers. We used to have 5,911 centers. Or maybe a little bit more than that. But very few parties can even get representation in 3,000. And this is why I think somebody spoke about the support of our partners to assist us in that. The problem is that all we have to work together to establish a benchmark as per the electoral reform process. The political parties have made a benchmark to be entitled to some level of assistance, whether from the state or from foreign partners. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Senator Jala?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and welcome the nomination. Congratulations. That's a right I have. Mr. Nominee. What is the goal of commissioner strength in conflict resolution? My impression and my experience shows that the commission takes every decision it makes that comes from its agents as true and final. Even if there's a challenge, you want to be able to justify and give that result historically. Is there a development to look more into that direction? Because the people on the field will have some issues. And when it comes to you as a board, you have to be above the fray. But everything that comes to the board is confirmed or is appropriated almost to the best of my experience.
Thank you, Senator. Yeah, I think some cases. But if I'm confirmed, I can assure you that will not happen. There will not be what you call the state process that won't whatever comes from the ministerial area in the board will accept it. No.
You see, you refer to the Supreme Court attempt to strike down one of your rules, sections.
Strongly down.
Okay, you confirm they have been struck down. It is because when the board confirms almost everything that comes to it, and it will go to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court can be very technical and critical. But let's go to the issue at stake. The issue at stake has to do with your hearing officers. How do you recruit? How do you recruit? How do you get and recruit the hearing officer? And how can we rely on the hearing officers since they are contractors?
Over the time there in my Clinton, we used to target the law school students. They are the grad school of law, senior students. We target them to serve as officers and other lawyers also. Yeah. We look at competence, we look at integrity, look at some track record.
So how would that go far to ensure that party other laws are not recruited by the vetting process?
That is a bit difficult. It's like you go to, you are recruiting presiding officers, you're recruiting electoral supervisors. It is difficult to see that individual without wearing party regalia. They have those sound there. So it becomes difficult to tell whether the guy is a member of a party or not. So he come to you as a plain citizen, we apply and say you want the school year, look at the requirement, meet the requirement, to recruit them. Some of them they do, sometimes some of them do things out of the way. So we go to the place and tell people, look, this is the election commission. If you come to work for the election commission, you cannot keep your own partisanship here. They say, oh no, you sound people that they are not. And we recruit them.
You know, I ask this question consistently because my experience on the field showed that hearing officers even go to the point of refusing to receive complaint. We have to call Monrovia, and whenever we have to call them, they receive it.
Wow.
Yes, 2014. It happened in Lofa. It happened. I don't know, 2014, I was General Cooper, but I think when Mr. Cooper had a call before the hearing officer could take this complaint. So there has to be a measure where hearing officers will not operate at their wings and caprice, of themselves. There has to be some standard, some vetting measure to make sure that these are strong individuals that be recruited to manage complaints.
Thank you, Senator. We are planning to recruit inspectors across the country. That will observe the Bureau of Magistrates and hearing officers and so forth. We look forward if we're trying to put that into practice.
Okay, let me just summarize the highlights of some of the concerns on the election commission, not necessarily individuals. One, the lack of public trust. Okay. Two, weak dispute resolution transparency, which we just talked about. C, some level of efficiency administratively, as evidenced recently by the strength of your staff. Okay, so those are some of the areas that could bring about concern in the future if they continue to be the way it is. So if you take that under advisement and study, and you can do something about them, of course, there will always be the question of funding. But as one of my colleagues indicated, people work sometimes 2 hours, 3 hours. It has become burdensome on the candidates to even have to transport voters. They're not talking. Voting area from where they are, for example, you live at 15 gate and you vote in Canada. So that would have for them trucking. Trucking is from here to Lofa. Okay? Or from here to Brandon, or Brandon. From here to Brandon, where you come from. You take it from Bytown and you're trucking. You're on the phone now, I'm giving you the highlights. So, Mr. Commissioner, These are areas, because for me, I know I want the Supreme Court my case and I want the case. And I'm prepared to do that in the future if nothing is done again. Thank you.
Thank you. Senator Young?
You will be anything. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Nominee, good afternoon. Good afternoon. No time fast spent. We have to do the job of the Nigerian people because the political parties, the citizens are watching us do our job expeditiously. I just want to ask a few very basic questions. Most of the big administrative and structural questions have been asked by many of my colleagues. But I want to go into detail about what affected me during the mine by-election. You take emails from us, and you take numbers from us. Do we ever make use of them? On the candidate registration, there you take emails from us, you take phone numbers from us. Do you ever make use of them in informing candidate between registration, all the information that you share out of voting day? Do you?
That should be the case with the political companies.
And then
That's the instruction.
And I can say to you here, I'm willing to be on the record so we can go into it. Not one day during the process did I receive one email from anybody from NEC. I think I received 1 or 2 text messages on very, irrelevant issues other than the main issues. You have to rely on people in NEC and call them every day. What's going on? I'm being serious here. I was disappointed when many of us are in the coaches and trying to mobilize our people, and we are, when you hit coverage area, you check your phone, you don't get anything unless you call someone, and that was a problem. Information sharing also. To, build
For a better future, support the Sakuni.
Welcome to all of you. It's good to meet, young Liberians. You all represent the future of our country. We came here to attend the Africa CEO Forum. So it's a forum of many CEOs from around the continent. I'm glad that all of you are in school, some of you are finishing. We want to create a right environment in Liberia so that, one, we can improve our schools, so you don't necessarily have to leave to come to school. It's not a bad thing to come to another country to go to school. It's a good thing. But I wish we had the quality of institutions that they have here so that you wouldn't have to do that. And most importantly, I wish the economy in Liberia was doing well, so you have jobs to go to.
And some of them they feel afraid. When they make you president, the usual thing will not be done. Yeah, the usual thing will not be done. the raffle thing will be done always. So they feel like if we make Mr. Kumi president, our hand will be out of the, like the cookie jar. Will not be able to exploit the Liberia, will not be able to exploit our resources. Liberia is rich when it comes to resources. If you just take the resources that are in Liberia and bring it to this country, Mr. Kumi, the country will be far ahead of other European countries. I don't want to lie to you. Yeah, we have to use the resources that can be able to build our country. But our people sometimes they just misuse it, they just mismanage it for their family, and then they just reach and then they just sit down. Sometimes we use a Bible, or sometimes like some that can't even say, well, why Liberia can be like this country? Why?
These people consist of students and professionals. Where I attended a diaspora return conference in Liberia, I had the opportunity to have met you. You took me as a child, as a son, and I want to appreciate you for the care. Also, during our communication, our conversation, you did promise the Liberian community of Rwanda financial support for our sports tournament, and you did fulfill your promise. I'd like to appreciate you. When we took power as a leadership, we promised the community that we not the community to do sports activities. So now, as we speak, we have almost 6 to 7 chapters within the Liberian community in Rwanda, and our chapter tournament is ongoing currently through your financial help. We want to appreciate you. And come Sunday will be our final games. So we appreciate you, and we hope the relationship continue. So thank you very much, and let God keep blessing you.
Thank you. Well, let me first of all say it's great to be back in Kigali after so very long. And it's wonderful to see how the country has developed over the many years since I've been here. But this Africa CEO Forum, the theme is about scaling, how Africa and Africans can work together to scale their businesses. And I think Liberia can learn 2 lessons. One, within the context of Liberia, we need to work together so we can scale within Liberia. And so that means working together as a people, businesses working together, government being supportive of the businesses and business environment and investing in businesses. So again, we can get scale, we can make our businesses bigger, they can have impact. The second way I think Liberia can benefit is by collaborating with other countries. So within the Mana River Union, for example, or within ECOWAS, for example, because then it expands the markets where Liberians can sell products that we produce, that we manufacture. So the concept of scaling, which is the theme of this forum, is something that can directly apply to our country. Scale within Liberia and scale across the sub-region and indeed across the continent.
Mr. Chairman, I stand to be corrected that a few percentage of the invalid vote has to do with the condition of voting. Some of the places and the things that you vote on, do you know this armchair that slant up the way you sit behind it? You go there, some don't have legs, you got the ballot, pen is hanging there, you're shaking, you're fighting on it. They are just appalling, Mr. Chairman. Things that the ballots are rested onto vote are very appalling. Some of the rooms are kept, they are very untidy, it's just bad. And from our experience from seeing other people voting, there are measurable booths that got a very nice platform and surface that people put ballot on to, to vote. I don't know how hard it is for us to get or take additional time and properly vet these voting areas so that we can now be able to vote properly. Because you cannot have people who barely can hold a pen, or maybe this is true. We have to do something about it, Mr. Chairman. For me, those are those little things that I observed that I just want, if confirmed, your chairmanship should look into it. We can do all the bigger ones, but if the vote, the way we vote is not conducive enough, then we'll continue to have invalid votes. Then it doesn't represent the will and aspiration of the people of Liberia. And I can assure you that with the experience, I will be one of those who will be looking very much to push your chairmanship. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Senator Simeon.
Thank you, Chairman. And Dominique, how you coming on? How you doing? I'm back, Senator. I've been here for a while. Yeah. But let me just pick it back on what Jan was saying before going to my question. The gadgets you said that you'll be using, does it work on internet? Pardon me? The election material where we place the people in the register or in the system where it be using internet facilitated. Yeah, sure. But then we don't have internet all over the country. So there are places. Ohio Starlink. Okay, you will get it in your village. That's good. So during your statement, you said that the election laws are something that we need to look at. You just let us know what are two major things that you would like to look at when you are confined as chairman of the election commission. In terms of electoral reform, yeah, that's key. Just tell me two major things we'll be looking at. Yeah. In terms of electoral reform, we think there's a need. Funding to the commission, there's a need to look at that. Funding to the commission, I think is a major issue. When you talk about the question of the independence of the commission, that's an issue what we think to be addressed in the law. And the current law we have does not give much focus on that. We also intend to look at the issue of the magistrate. How are the magistrates, the working system that I have within the magistrates, are they supposed to be perpetual? Or do they have some kind of that? Those are issues we look at. And we will also look at the question of voting, of voter registration. What are the requirements that qualify somebody that a voter need to bring, and person need to bring order to be registered as a voter? Those are some of the issues. We were also looking at complete application, as I indicated here, at the agency of the Constitution that provided some issues on that. As to whether the commission should be the one to conduct elections and to investigate complete harassing other elections. But those are issues on the electoral reform that we are looking at. There are a whole lot of other issues that the political parties, how the political parties are organized, the law governing them, because I told you about the deliberations, other parties that we have. These are issues in the electoral reform that I think the legislature will have to help the commission to solve. Thank you. Yeah. How do you deal with the issue people consider to be trucking? Because, for example, I live in Monrovia. The children come from Kitmon to Monrovia to go to school. And doing voter registration, they come to their lawmakers or whoever can assist them that they want to do their registration in Grand Kitmon County. For example, they are placed in a bus or a truck to go to their various counties to register and vote. Do you consider that to be trucking? Owing to the fact that they have the right to vote and they have the right to exercise their franchise in their country. Do you consider that trucking? And I don't want to go in the descriptions of that to call it what it is. I want the commission will ensure that people register where they vote. The reason why it's important to that means myself in the same region. And I'm with you already. So it's important to ask these questions because of your election. The reason why I'm saying is I want my colleague alone talking about the right for the people to vote in the diaspora. And the right of Kitmon. Let me be specific on Kitmon because I'm from Kitmon. Living from Sano to come and register to select a leader in Kitmon. They have the right to do that. I'm looking at Kitmonians are living in Bikeno. I want to come back and go to their villages to register the vote. And they have the right to do that. If they are in the process of doing that, that is not trucking. I could be in Sierra Leone
and there is election in Liberia, and I want to come back from Sierra Leone to Liberia to register to vote, that's my right. If I have the resources to do that, I think I should do that. So I just wanted to be clear before the election time comes and so on. Say people that are living from there to go to our county, and now because we are very close to the city, all of us are here, and most of our coming to see Green back. So it's important to register that. When we take note of that. How do you deal with legal matters that emanate our witness of that? I spent 11 months in the area at night, like I was living. Dealing with legal matters that emanate from elections. The issue about due process. And unnecessarily, I was part of the election commission only because someone said I registered 2 times, voted 2 times. Even when NEC, who was responsible to say, yes, this man did not register 2 times and vote 2 times, and somebody was still there when NEC testified that I did not do that. It kept me for 11 months in court in the name of due process. Do you have a plan to reform the process of election complaints that emanate from election? I'm sorry to hear that. Sometimes when you know, there are a lot of things that may happen that don't come around. I'm surprised to hear that you're saying that. This is what I can assure you. We'll take note of that. And we show that the hearing process does not become a protracted process. Just a delay, just a deny. I will take note of that because I'm a police here. Last take note of that. Before, thank you very much. The issue about hiring networkers. Most of the time, the commission living with the magistrate has stayed at the petrol. And somebody magistrate build relationship with other candidates. You talk about transparency, openness to the election activities in Liberia. You have a magistrate that stays somewhere for 5 years and he stays there and presides over election. And you want to help a candidate and he chooses to hire the supporters of that candidate to govern the election in the county. How do you select the workers that work with NEC in the federal county? And do you have a plan? For example, if a magistrate lives in the county until election, maybe 3 months to election or 6 months to election, do you have plan to change them around so that they cannot be so acquainted with the people and to avoid cheating and the rest of it? Thank you, Senator. That's a very issue. I told the electoral reform law that we invested not just about law. There's about expedience. I'm talking about transparency. I'm saying that the electoral reform law that we talk about crafting, and I spoke about the issue of changing of the magistrates. I do not believe that magistrates should be in a position perpetually. I don't believe that. I don't even believe that a magistrate should be to come from the era. Now, as a commissioner, the election commission, you cannot oversight the country where you come from. I'm from Bakun. All the years I spent as a commissioner, I could never become oversight commissioner in Bakun. So I think magistrates who are the main people, election is a fee. Work is a fee. So those who preside over the fee, I do not believe they should be able to come from the county where they reside. That's an issue I think the commission should take a look at. That is it. And I can promise you that if confirmed, the magistrates will be evaluated. Magistrates will be evaluated. The magistrates will come in. There will be standard prescribed, they will be evaluated based on that. And that way, and if the evaluation result will show whether you remain where you are, or you transfer to other localities or your other positions. You're not going to just be a blanket thing where you magistrate, and that's it. My chairmanship will not accept that. The recruitment process will be key to look at
And let me tell you something, let me be very clear, Senator. Very clear. The commission will no longer also the recruitment of electoral workers to the mayors. The commissioners will handle it. Thank you, sir.
Lastly, the issue, I heard you saying that the UN asks you 4,000 person to a precinct, blah, 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 blah. But I come from a village called Yabuma, very far in the farm. Houses there, but that whole region, you may not find a big town, and maybe 10 houses in the village, or maybe 7, but then that whole stretch of land is about 4 hours, and there are 10 villages around. They may not have the population, but they want to vote. And you allow them to walk 3 hours, 2 hours, 1 hour, 30 minutes to go and find a center to vote or a precinct to vote. Most of the time they sit back, and maybe those people are my people. For example, they want to vote for me, for example, and then they cannot reach there. And sometimes I hear people complaining lack of resources. What do we do to give opportunity to all Nigerians based on the geographical landscape or the locale where you are, and you have more than 3 hours or 2 hours distance? Will you under your leadership? Will you increase more precinct for voting?
Thank you so much.
Regardless of population.
Yes, Senator, I indicated that's the plan of the commission. And the commission plan has even been buttressed by the recommendation of the election observation team. I indicated that registration centers should be increased, and the centers should target where there's population. That area you're talking about, where the people they will be under my chairmanship will establish center closer to where population. They take that from there. Thank you.
I would be glad that you come from the western region and that you keep this country very peaceful.
I will do so.
That people will know that Putin always comes from the west.
We are absolutely right. Thank you.
All right.
Okay, Mr. Presiding, I don't ask question when the person is from Bapol, but I'm under constraint to ask this question.
Okay, Senator, thank you.
Because I'm the chair on gender.
Okay.
Mr. Nominee, I think it's history, but if you can remember, the election I went through in 2020 and 2021. You listen to the radio, the constraint I went through before becoming a senator. I'm asking you this question because it is about violence. Violence among women. So, if I know you will be confirmed, what are you going to do to stop the violence against women, especially?
Thank you so much. There's the recommendation from our international partner regarding even setting quota when it comes to the questions of gender participation in the process. We will work with the state apparatus. I think women should be protected in the process, while every other person should be protected. But there's a core, I think there's a need that there's more women to encourage more women in the process. I will make it a policy if I'm confirmed, my confirmation if I'm confirmed, to ensure that women candidates are protected. And if it requires all requesting the security agency to provide security for this candidate, we will do that with the assistance of the legislature. I will come back to you for that.
Thank you. Let me say congratulations because I know all the men listen to the 3 women. When your time reach, you must say order. But I'm on the floor, no order. Let me say again, congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for giving me the opportunity to speak. First, let me congratulate the nominee. No doubt, he's one of the best that you have ever had in council.
Thank you, Senator.
And so, but unfortunately, I wasn't asked to introduce myself as a matter of principle in this. But I'm the chair of the National Security Committee.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator.
That comprises of defense, security, intelligence, and veteran affairs. Okay. So basically, most of my question will be security related. Firstly, I don't know, I'm sorry if anybody ever asked. In your deliberation, you said at some point in time, the NEC was on top of stove. You moved it to its own headquarters. Yeah. But in recent times, there has been speculation that you will be dislodged from that headquarters. Is that true?
An attack on our Kaluba.
Question.
Thank you, Senator.
For a better future, support the Sakuni.
Welcome to all of you. It's good to meet, young Liberians. You all represent the future of our country. We came here to attend the Africa CEO Forum. So it's a forum of many CEOs from around the continent. I'm glad that all of you are in school, some of you are finishing. We want to create the right environment in Liberia so that, one, we can improve our schools, so you don't necessarily have to leave to come to school. It's not a bad thing to come to another country to go to school. It's a good thing. But I wish we had the quality of institutions that they have here so that you wouldn't have to do that. And most importantly, I wish the economy in Liberia was doing well, so you have jobs to go to.
And someone they feel afraid when they make you president, the usual thing will not be done. Yeah, the usual thing will not be done. The referral thing will be done always. So they feel like if we make Mr. Kumi president, our hand will be out of the, like the cookie jar. Will not be able to export the Liberia, will not be able to export our resources. Liberia rich when it comes to resources. If you just take the resources that are in Liberia and bring it to this country, Mr. Kumi, the country will be far ahead of other European countries. I don't want to lie to you. Yeah, we have to use the resources that can be able to build our country. But our people sometimes they just misuse it, just mismanage it for their family, and then they just reach and say, and then they just sit down. Sometimes we use a baffles or sometimes like sometimes I can't even wanna say, well, why Liberia can be like this country? Why?
These people consist of students and professionals. Where I attended the diaspora return conference in Liberia, I had the opportunity to have met you. You took me as a child, as a son, and I want to appreciate you for the care. Also, during our communication, our conversation, You did promise the Liberian community Rwanda financial support for our sports tournament, and you did fulfill your promise. I'd like to appreciate you. When we took power as a leadership, we promised the community that we will not the community do sports activities. So now, as we speak, we have almost 6 to 7 chapters within the Liberian community in Rwanda, and our chapter tournament is ongoing currently through your financial help. We want to appreciate you. And come Sunday will be our final games. So we appreciate you, and we hope the relationship continue. So thank you very much, and let God keep blessing you.
Thank you. Well, let me first of all say it's great to be back in Kigali after so very long. And it's wonderful to see how the country has developed over the many years since I've been here. But this Africa CEO Forum, the theme is about scaling, how Africa and Africans can work together to scale their businesses. And I think Liberia can learn 2 lessons. One, within the context of Liberia, we need to work together so we can scale within Liberia. And so that means working together as a people, businesses working together, government being supportive of the businesses and business environment and investing in businesses. So again, we can get scale, we can make our businesses bigger, they can have impact. The second way I think Liberia can benefit is by collaborating with other countries. So within the Mana River Union, for example, or within ECOWAS, for example, because then it expands the markets where Liberians can sell products that we produce, that we manufacture. So the concept of scaling, which is the theme of this forum, is something that can directly apply to our country. Scale within Liberia and scale across the sub-region and indeed across the continent.
Including the security advisors in the Senate, but God also that will work together to the process so that the same is
So let me ask my last question, considering time. I have 4 to 5 questions, but I will ask the last one. Thank you. What safeguard should you put in place against misinformation and fake election results circulating? What things are you putting in place in terms of misinformation, fake results, social media, as soon as the elections over, people start posting, which misinformation that generate confusion, chaos. What system are you putting in place in order to enforce that?
The system we have in place, the people have a country that know they will start pointing the country right now. Journalists are out in the law. The system requires that you put a copy of the record of crime every sector posted. It is there journalists go and screen it. And when you hear them on election night, they give you updates. That is for that particular record of crime. And there are no election system that I'm aware of in this country where a record now can be published. You not even have the election of the commission, where it has become part of the system. And one of the graduations we did in 2004, the third division of the United Nations, was to ensure that instead of you having a card on the roll, a photo on the roll on the card, to ensure that there are 2 photo systems. I never, on the road, that one. The second thing was that, a copy of the record can't be given to political party representatives. I need a pre-runner up, and then a copy of the people on the board. That will continue, but one thing we emphasize is that in the face of social media and so forth, that if people listening to the election commission will come at all, we have the authority and company. Thank you. We understand.
Thank you, Mr. Commissioner Desi, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you, sir. Senator Before.
Francis, Senator, Liberty County, former representative, county chair. Thank you. Answer on that. I'd like to know which political party are you a member of?
I'm not a member of any political party.
You are a member of the commission, and you were appointed by the municipality government on Nasari.
I was appointed by the Constitutional Administration in Dubai. That was 2 years. After that, election president, being nominated.
Okay, so you served under the municipality government by the commission up to 2020. So in 2017, you were from the commission, having been appointed by the government, municipality last election. Okay, then in 2023, were you a consultant or what did you do with the party?
My boss is seen at the Center for Development Election Monitoring Consultancy, providing the trust services to political parties. And we wrote every political party as well because the only part group that developed with them was the collaboration political parties at the time. They said in their services, and it was extreme worker party agent in terms of bullying to them. Understand you through law and so forth. That was the services were offered. The collaborating political
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So it means that there should be no fear in political parties. The party have a history of being funded by political parties in the government. Party still not elected.
Nobody should be affected. I was saying this one.
How are you going to do your hearing news about magistrate getting busy? Yeah, getting busy. Yeah, so what like yeah. What happened? What like anything to do with space?
Honestly, my 40 years I'm there. March, there was a workshop in Ghana. We have several workshops to be some levels of with our partner, NEC. One of the great addressable project. So actually, one workshop was in Ghana. And it's a Ghana, Solomon Ghana, participated in that workshop. I want to say when the workshop ended, then he left and went to Maryland and requested the assistant magistrate in Maryland to allow him to use his apartment because he was sleeping there. And the next day he was going to Arrow's for medical treatment. My colleague also informed me that somewhere in November last year, the commission gave the farm payment for medical reasons. Which giving the farm payment with the commission did. So I think it was for the health, of the solution to the health problem. Mr. Jane, they are one of our indicator and the winner of our to seek medical attention. According to information, set by the existing magistrate's place, the NEC security officer at the ministerial office went up on a motorbike and the motorbike took in a crowd to what that. That's the information on that. The white wrote and said, I have not seen the last one. And the commission, after I spoke with me, decided to forward that letter to the police to help us with findings. They will be done.
Yeah, that's the recent one. No one having gun here. And think gun here.
No, the one that I'm.
Yeah, another time again, I was only about country. Let's say it's not a bad thing. I don't know, but it's something that yeah, we can concern about it. You see, the way it goes to the public, and then somebody working for people is gone before but very well check on. You don't understand that the real story so you know that because sometimes it become political thing, because election thing, I don't know how somebody working how to do with election result. The energy compare election result. So I'm concerned about that. I was on the election committee of the House of Representatives. And the commission set up, I think, some kind of working team, of which I represented the common representative on the boundary delimitation. The do is we had 2 meetings, we had a chat room, and that was just all. And the reason I'm breaking it out is that when we are according to work in the chat room, some of us we are not people who don't want to work. You can now put all in the chat room, committee, perform. We wanted to see the result. We don't know whether that was done, but I know when it's done, any of you put in that chat room and put us in on the budget delimitation that we saw the one that we did a work for, we have been forward. I'm just saying that you can't assume that we take the budget our election commission in terms of failure, stakeholder to be. We take it very serious, and then we try it all. We don't try it all because it comes before all. We want to get support for all so that we give it the support that we go. We are led as I'm just concerned about that. I was specifically concerned because I know the election it is difficult to keep me. Do that very well. No matter who you are. So when people are cheating, I don't want to cannot cheat. So, and I know your qualification, your experience, I was just going to be clear with the public. Now, if political parties have issues, this is the best measure that every political party is represented here. So we expect people to come here and raise the issue so that we be clear with the speculation. Specifically, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. It's nominee. Mr. Nominee, I have a few questions and comments. Our first question is, you have stated as members or chairman of the National Board. There's also violent political section. Do you also, does the law also provide for the vice president? So you have said the other that do you intend to? I think so. Now in the situation that the ranking situation, why don't you speak again? My top question is, and to the background that re-elections, you talk about the multiplicity of cases in the nation coming out of elections. And I do believe it's from the fact that most of the magistrates are not lawyers for they are trained to get cases. So is there a plan where in the process of now or in the future, where you put a team of lawyers, the election, start work here, so the problems? Sure. This is why we talk about concerns. That was not in the file. I have people who are lawyers that would assist us. For example, any new information. So Mr. Chairman, as chairman of as the nominee, the position of chairman for the National Election Commission, are you an executive chairman? I don't know much more than about the policy. Do you recognize that there is a board of commissioners and you are the leader? Yeah, I am the board under the law, election law. The higher decision making body is the commission. And the ministers are there. So they ask again, like you should do the council of working on this. Oh, yeah, sure. Every commissioner is that available. So you need 5 commissioners plus the chair. I have that budget with the because I see across the floor on my far right, the colleagues are starting here, even though there's been that one thing eliminated. And that's the IT, that conference leader. It's going to be that support, I believe, which is supposed to mean that the job you are about to undertake is a collective one. And we hope that you do all your power to work together as a team. Get
Welcome to all of you. It's good to meet, young Liberians. You all represent the future of our country. We came here to attend the Africa CEO Forum. So it's a forum of many CEOs from around the continent. I'm glad that all of you are in school, some of you are finishing. We want to create a right environment in Liberia so that, one, we can improve our schools, so you don't necessarily have to leave to come to school. It's not a bad thing to come to another country to go to school. It's a good thing. But I wish we had the quality of institutions that they have here so that you don't have to do that. And most importantly, I wish the economy in Liberia was doing well, so you have jobs to go to. Liberia was doing well, so you have jobs to go to.
And some of them feel afraid. When they make you president, the usual thing will not be done. Yeah, the usual thing will not be done.
So you have jobs to go to.
Some of them always. So they feel like if members are coming president, the usual thing will not be done. Out of the, the usual thing will not be done. So they feel like if members are coming president, like very rich when it comes to resources. If you just take the resources that are in Liberia and bring it to this country, Mr. Cummings, the country will be far ahead of other European countries. I don't want to lie to you. Yeah, we have to use the resources that can be able to build our country. But our people sometimes they just miss music, they just mismanage it for their family, and then they just reach and say, and then they just sit down. Sometimes we youth a baffles or sometimes there's something I can't even say, well, why Liberia can be like this country? Why?
These people consist of students and professionals. Where I attended a diaspora return conference in Liberia, I had the opportunity to have met you. You took me as a child, as a son, and I want to appreciate you for the care. Also, during our communication, our conversation, you did promise the Liberian community Rwanda financial support for our sports tournament, and you did fulfill your promise. I'd like to appreciate you. When we took power as a leadership, we promised the community that we will not the community do sports activities. So now, as we speak, we have almost 6 to 7 chapters within the library community in Rwanda, and our chapter autonomy is ongoing currently through your financial help. We want to appreciate you. And come Sunday will be our final games. So we appreciate you, and we hope the relationship continue. So thank you very much, and let God keep blessing you.
Thank you. Well, let me first of all say it's great to be back in Kigali after so very long. And it's wonderful to see how the country has developed over the many years since I've been here. But this Africa CEO Forum, the theme is about scaling, how Africa and Africans can work together to scale their businesses. And I think Liberia can learn 2 lessons. One, within the context of Liberia, we need to work together so we can scale within Liberia. And so that means working together as a people, businesses working together, government being supportive of the businesses and business environment and investing in businesses. So again, we can get scale, we can make our businesses bigger, they can have impact. The second way I think Liberia can benefit is by collaborating with other countries. So within the Mana River Union, for example, or within ECOWAS, for example, because then it expands the markets where Liberians can sell products that we produce, that we manufacture. So the concept of scaling, which is the theme of this forum, is something that can directly apply to our country. Scale within Liberia and scale across the sub-region and indeed across the continent.
Take me back to Liberia, where the drums still play my song. Take me back to my homeland. It's the place where I belong.
LIB Future TV, giving voice to progressive Liberians, speaking about politics, entertainment, and local news.